We are at the Virginia International Raceway of the 2026 Season 1, Week 1. Fantastic start, making our way past several cars. I intentionally started from the back, did not qualify, but I will have to start qualifying more and get used to that, starting from the middle or near the front of the pack. Turn 1 on cold tires, always dangerous. We're on the outside here, which is not the best place to be, and promptly I do go off. And I go off so much that I just slam on the brakes and want to now stop, let everyone pass, and try again. Since we started in the back, we're no worse off than we were before. As long as we can see the cars in front of us, I'm feeling good about this. This is going to be a full race recap where I share my experience from originally rookie license to A license at some point in the near future. I'm currently at a D license. I should have been C license. Well, not should have been, but I could have been if I had raced different kinds of races last season. But I did like the Mazda so much that I kept doing it. This season I'm also dabbling in the mixed car classes as well as with the GT4. So now on this back straight here, we're going to slowly catch up to the cars ahead of us. They're still within sight, and on the uphill section I can usually gain a couple of tenths on the cars ahead of us. Some of them will usually go off here as well in lap 1, so there's always hope that people will go off and we can make up some spots that way. Still more cautious on these left turns and right turns as I would be once the tires are a little bit warmer, but look at that, we've already caught up to the car significantly and now we're really on their bumper here. Making our way past it on the inside, getting a better exit out of this turn. We're off the racing line here a little bit, but we have the speed and momentum and the car does back out. Also trying to stay out of trouble. We appreciate that and take full advantage of it. Cars on the left, cars on the right, off track, trying to get past them before they rejoin. It worked out well. That's lap 1. Several cars have been overtaken and we're making our way to the front. Even though we started in the back, we will end up near the podium at the end of this. Getting a good run here, trying to pretend we're going to make a lunge, and actually I do make a lunge. I was prepared to back out, but the car did brake significantly earlier than I would have, so I just went for it knowing that I was going to brake while I'm already past them, and the move was made. I like VIR, the racetrack here. It is quite fast, it has some interesting turns, uphill, downhill sections, different weight transfers off the car as you go over the crest. That's interesting to play around with and experience in this Mazda here. And it always lends itself to several overtakes and chaos moments. And again, we're catching up on the cars ahead on this uphill section. I'm going a little bit wider than I would like to, but that's okay. We stay on track and make use of the full track. Getting off the throttle here just briefly, then back on as we're trying to stay on the darkened part of this track, which I'm assuming is the racing line for the most part. Braking here, I adjust my braking point as the tires get colder, warmer, more worn at the end of the race, but for now it turned out okay, even though it wasn't perfect at all. Every season I do improve my lap times by sometimes more, sometimes less, so always progress is to be made here. We're catching up to the cars ahead of us, we're now seeing them closer, and on this straight we're not in the draft, but another car has caught up from behind and they're going to make a move on us here. They do have the speed, they do have the racing line, so my only hope is to brake controlled and stay really tight on the inside line here. We're staying on the inside, it's working out well. The car does back out, they did not have trust in my ability, and that's probably for the wiser because 9 out of 10 times I'm able to control the car in this turn, but that one time when it just goes wrong and I slam on the brakes too hard and lose control, not lose control, but slide and skid further than I wanted to, that's the problem. So this car on the outside did back off. And now we're through here. We've again gained sight of the cars in front of us. One of them, at least, the car behind us, is still there. So now there's pressure from behind, and we can now put a little bit more pressure on the cars in front. 2 cars ahead. Maybe that car that was immediately in front of us is going to be held up by the car that is 2 in front of us. That's always a chance. Nope, they go off track, and we make it past them again before they rejoin. The car behind us does have to slow down to avoid them as they rejoin, so that gives us a little bit more breathing room as we go down into this corkscrew downhill section. There are a couple things that I've found that have really helped me improve in my racing. One, of course, is to watch as many track guides and other YouTubers race their cars on tracks in cars that I'm racing as well, learning their driving style, their techniques, their tactics, but also just finishing laps. Whenever I did go off track or did get bumped, made a mistake, even though I had no chance of winning or being anywhere near the points, it's always worth it, in my opinion, to finish the race, get the lap time, get the experiences in, and that over time will pay dividends and makes you drive better. Now here, of course, I do go too long into the corner and we're not quite there yet, but we have caught up nicely to the car ahead of us. Now that we're behind them so close that I can figure out where their brake lights go on and where their brake lights turn off again, I can study them a little bit and see if there are any opportunities coming up where their line is significantly different, where I might be able to overtake them on merit rather than them making a mistake. They're going wide here, so I'm going to see if I can set this up. No, I do back out. I wasn't quite confident enough. And now that we are behind this car that is slower than us, the car behind us has caught up as well. But they're going to be doing the smart thing, giving us enough room, hoping that perhaps we will make a mistake as we crash with the car ahead of us and then they can capitalize on it. That's always a strategy. Or they're just going to do the same thing we're doing, observing the car ahead, trying to look for opportunities as they come up. Definitely holding back a little bit. I'm poking my nose in, pretending to make a lunge, trying to unsettle them that way, going back on the racing line, braking a little earlier, having an okay exit here. Again, trying the same different move here. Now I'm backing out so that I can get a better exit out of the turn at the bottom. And we do manage that somewhat, not quite as well as I would have hoped. Fortunately, we're still in the draft of this car, so we can see if we can get a little bit closer before the end of this straight. We got closer, but we didn't quite make it. We are now trying to go around them, but again, I do back out because I don't have the racing line and I'm not quite confident that I want to be on the outside of that turn. But we are closer and opportunities are materializing, so there's hope for the next lap here. Again, this car had trouble on this particular spot earlier, so now we're going to set up our run onto this little back straight here. Staying with them, staying behind them. They're going to the middle to defend. We're picking the inside line. We're side by side. And again, I'm fully prepared to back out had the car not seen us and swerved over. But I do stay tight on the inside line and we make the move stick. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you can probably tell perhaps that I'm more aggressive on the overtakes. I'm making more moves on my own merit rather than just waiting for them to make mistakes, for the other cars to make mistakes. That is one of the things I do want to try out this season, to be more controllably making moves myself rather than relying on other cars' mistakes entirely. And so far this has been working out. Now that we've overtaken this car, we do have a little bit of a lonely race coming up. The car behind us is still there. The bluish car that was behind us is also still there. So we do have pressure from the two cars behind. The key is to be consistent now, not make any mistakes, and hopefully pull away. And as I think about that, I of course go very wide in this corner, and the cars from behind are getting dangerously close again. But that just means I've got to put my head down, sort it all out, and just drive normally. And not let them freak me out from behind. This yellow and red car is really trying to make a move in these corners here, while the bluish car does hang back a little bit more now. I'm quite confident going through this particular turn here on the uphill section through these turns, so I can usually pull away a little bit from the other cars behind us, and we're doing the same thing here. Keep an eye on the two cars behind in one of the top screens there on the last right-hand turn on the downhill here. Again, we're hitting our lines quite nicely, going to the outside. I brake, I do gear down. I've seen people go through here in gear 3. And now the 2 cars behind us have collided, as you saw on the bottom right-hand screen on the top there. That gives us a lot of breathing room, a lot of time to relax, not relax, but at least not be so under pressure from the cars behind that we can actually focus on our consistency, racing lines, hitting the braking points. Again, I drift too far out, I think, here as we go back onto the racing line, perhaps too far on the right. A little bit too early to turn in, not using the entire track on the right as well. Other than being too slow, I think we're in the right spot on the track here. So yeah, a little bit of a lonely race coming up. That's just focus on my driving, make sure the lines are correct, they're consistent above anything else, hitting my braking points, hitting my braking references. This now gives me the time to practice hitting the brakes gently, more strongly, to again see how the tires react at this stage in the race. 2 more laps to go. Really now it's a lonely drive. Nobody's approaching from behind. The podium cars are all gone, out of sight. No chance to catch up to them. So as we go through the end of the race here, do keep an eye out for racing lines, consistencies in my driving on these particular straights. What gear should I end up in at the very end? I think I can get out of gear 5, but maybe I should just stay in gear 4. I'm not in the draft of a car there, so maybe gear 4 is sufficient. We do see now another car in front of us, so if there is a chance to overtake them before the end of the lap, I'll take it. But they're very far ahead and they've made it so far through the race, so ideally for them, they will not be concerned about our existence here. But you never know, so we're going to keep trying, we're going to keep pushing. But also we're not going to risk too much at the end of the lap here. At the end of the race, there's 1 lap to go, and we don't want to lose a very highly position here in the points. Not on the podium, but just outside of it, so that's close enough. And that's good for iRating. Safety rating is actually going up here as well. Didn't have too many off tracks, didn't have any collisions. Which probably means I should be able to go faster and or risk more. Safety rating is hovering around 3.7 still. Sometimes it goes down a little bit, sometimes it goes up. Haven't gotten quite to the 4.0 yet on it, but that's okay. We're going to get a promotion hopefully this season. I've already done 2 races in the D-Class license, so that should get us bumped up to the C-Class license as long as the safety rating stays the same. And that's it for now. We've made it. Action-packed, love this racetrack, and if you've enjoyed this sort of thing and want to follow along my journey from the rookie license to A license eventually, please hit that like and subscribe button or leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Virginia International Raceway. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.